So it's that time, everybody, for the biggest party of the summer, WrestleMania Junior, Summerslam. So for the first and last predictions, so much has been happening that I'm going to include what I like to have happen in the match and what I think is going to happen. The schedule's super tight today, so I'm plowing through whatever cars you might hear. Let's get right down to it. I'm Casualeann. Come with me. So first I have listed Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor and Damian Priest. The Judgment Day. We've had the Judgment Day trying to recruit Dominic, planting thoughts in his head about his dad, but him ultimately resisting. I would like for Rey, with a father's intuition, to sense something's going on with his son. Now this isn't something we'd have to see on SummerSlam. They could kind of show it to us later to let the fans in. But Rey convinces Edge to look out for the Judgment Day, who Edge already has a problem with. And you know, with the whole weakness, pow to the head, gimmick infringement thing. Cue the 5-second pose. Edge joins the Mysterios at ringside. You still get the surprise pop. And of course, Rey is right, because when he's getting beat down mid-match and he turns to his corner to tag in Dominic, Dominic drops down. But Edge convinces him that this is not the guy he wants to be, the Judgment Day is not for him, and Dominic, a bit conflicted but seeing the light, goes ahead. Goes to beat on Finn or Priest, doesn't matter which one, outside the ring, and then drags his father back to his corner, tags himself in, and wins the match. Rey can't trust his son anymore. They split on the Raw after SummerSlam, and Dom has just enough cojones in the Judgment Day's mind to join them. And the Edge of Mystery are the greatest tag team in the world. The end. What I think is going to happen, he still turns on his father, but it's a full-throated turn, and it costs them the match. Edge comes in afterwards to help Rey out, and with Rhea back, 4-on-1 becomes 4-on-2, setting up Rey and Edge's feud with Priest and Balor, and Rhea's feud with Aaliyah, who returns later on to exact revenge on Rey's 20th anniversary celebration. So next, there's the Smackdown Women's Championship match. We have our champion Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. Liv Morgan is finally a women's champion. You can feel the excitement and the joy in the air whenever she comes out. Folks just love her. That said, she doesn't have the credibility yet to win over Rousey clean. I wonder what could have built that credibility for her. Maybe a year of kicking butt as Miss Money in the Bank? Anyway, since she doesn't have it yet, and you don't want Ronda to get the championship back or look weak, I think Bayley's going to return. She's going to interfere and ensure that Liv Morgan wins, because Bayley wants the SmackDown Women's Championship and knows that Liv is an easier target than Rousey is. Then Ronda and Bayley can feud over who should be the champion, and Liv Morgan can go on to another competitor, or Bayley and Liv can feud with each other. Now we have the Unified Tag Team Championships, our undisputed tag team champions, the Usos versus the Street Profits. Now SmackDown gave this away with the closing angle. Jey Uso kicked JEFFJERRETT in the face, so now it looks like Jarrett's going to be biased against them as the special guest referee. But that's just what WWE want you to think. Despite all of this, the Street Profits are still going to lose. The Usos will remain champions, and this is where we'll see the first visible cracks in the Street Profits. Dawkins and Ford won't break up tonight, but this is the show where you'll find out that the rumors are true and that the breakup is imminent. So for the United States Championship, the almighty Bobby Lashley versus the upstart Theory. This is the match that sets up Theory's desperation. They've built Bobby up to be all around better than Theory. He's better in every way. And Theory's a man on an island with no friends. The only way I could see Theory possibly winning is if he employs some hired gun like Ciampa, kind of an agent of chaos to cost Lashley the belt. But it's way more likely that Bobby Lashley just thumps Theory, like evidence to the contrary. Anyway, Bobby's gonna pound Theory into the mat, and the only way for Theory to recoup his loss for the night will be to become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. The first of our two celebrity matches, there's Logan Paul and The Miz. The battle of who is he and why do I care? This rivalry has turned me into a gigantic eye roll emoji because WWE just refuses to listen to the fans. They don't like Logan Paul, not as a good guy at least. Everything about his mannerisms, his speech, his ring gear, it all screams heel. So let him be one. The fans told you all you needed to know at WrestleMania when they cheered Miz turning on Paul. They told you again when Miz gave Paul a skull-crushing finale on this past week's Raw, and the audience chanted one more time. But WWE insists. The match is going to be good. Both these guys are. I just wished I cared more about it. But the major thing is that WWE remind us of the fact that Paul is good. They will. When he wins, he can feud with Ciampa or something. I could see Ciampa trying to distract Paul and the guy just getting fed up with it. So next, we have Pat McAfee versus Happy Corbin. Is there such a thing as being a McAfee, Mark? I totally am, if so. This celebrity match has all the in-ring potential of Logan Paul versus The Miz, maybe even more, but with infinitely more interest. From the backstage brawl, Corbin being in the stands, and McAfee as commentator being in the center of it, commentating over his own replays, they've really built the anticipation for this matchup. I don't like Corbin being relegated to jobber for the stars, quite literally, since this is a celebrity match. But I'm still glad we get to see him regularly, and I hold out hope that his reliability, willingness to work and keep people safe, and take any gimmick, no matter how ridiculous, will be rewarded with a push at some point. But for this night, McAfee's gonna take it and be entertaining as he does it. For our Raw Women's Championship match, the EST Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Becky Lynch. When it comes to SummerSlam, I have zero faith in WWE to do the right thing. The 26-second squash of Belair is indelibly imprinted on my mind. Why? I will move on. But I'm going to cast all that aside. I am. Big Time Bex is great at her continuing downward spiral, and Belair is great at being the champion. There's no wayward ship to right here. Bianca Belair, I believe, will retain. I would prefer for it to be even quicker than Becky beat her last year, but WWE will probably have them put on kind of another blissful battle, another nail-biting clash. It's going to be great either way. And now we have our main event match, a last man standing match. For the last time, supposedly. The undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. So unfortunately, I'm about as excited for this one as I am for The Miz and Logan Paul. This contest has to be carried on the backs of the names alone. It's not the match anymore because we've seen it 5,000 times already. It's not the story because there isn't one. They've barely interacted. The feud was done months ago. This match is like the last day of a really bad summer camp where you're not having fun, but you don't want to be a quitter, so you're going to see it through until the end. They've promised us that this is the last time, so we're sticking in there with you. I think this will get a lot more time than their WrestleMania match did, and not just because of the counting, even though that's part of it. It's more going to be about the drama and the sheer magnitude of what it's going to take to keep Brock down for the count of 10. I expect foreign objects to abound. Maybe Lesnar gets buried under something that the Usos are standing on, so he's literally incapable of standing back up. But Roman Reigns will break into 700 days as Universal Champion. So of course, there's the one thing that's on everyone's lips, everyone's mind. What's going to happen with a Theory cash-in? So what I'd like to have happen is for this collection of enemies to come together. And the Theory's been collecting them. Drew McIntyre, the whole bloodline, and that's 3 separate problems. He cheesed off Jey Uso, and he pissed off the tribal chief himself and Brock Lesnar. We haven't seen it, but because of Theory's arrogance, him bragging about being the youngest, being the future, being Mr. Money in the Bank, you could make the case for the visionary Seth Rollins to have an axe to grind. And of course, there's Dolph Ziggler. Since the head of the table made Vince not being here anymore part of the story, I would love for Theory, much like his wrestling daddy, to get some comeuppance. So after the end of the main event, you'd have this mass of baby faces come to wear Theory out and keep him from cashing in on Roman. So who checked my cash? Ann. It would be cool for us after the match to get a look backstage and see Theory and Gorilla just laid out, briefcase at his side like he was about to cash in. Then you can take the next few weeks to watch him be a jerk to the rest of the roster on his quest to find out who kept him from cashing in at Summerslam. So for what's going to happen, they've been teasing Dolph having a serious problem with Theory. He keeps causing Theory to lose matches. So I think he gets involved yet again to keep Theory from cashing in. Or in a worst case scenario, causing Theory's cash in to be unsuccessful. He could even stop Theory from cashing in a bid to fight Theory for the case. I could do with a babyface Dolph Ziggler as Mr. Money in the Bank. Why not? So those are my predictions and what I'd like to see happen for SummerSlam 2022. What do you think is going to happen at the biggest party of the summer? What do you want to happen? What about Nashville? It looks like the perfect place for something so star-studded and over the top, but was it enough to justify Jarrett coming back? Let me know any thoughts you have in the comments. I've got a can't miss deal just in time for the start of school and job applications. Subscribers to the Casualeann That Wrestling Fan channel are getting 50% off their first editing service through Shine On Editing. I've been examining writing for over 10 years, and now I'm finally striking out with a new company. That's resumes, programs, flyers, social media posts, scripts for YouTube videos, emails, letters, papers. I do it all. And for the next month, I do it for fans of this channel for half off. If you have writing you'd like to make shine, message Shine On Editing at Outlook.com. Attach your work if you want it reviewed right away. Include the word Casualeann and the YouTube name you're subscribed under to get your 50% discount. I'll get you what you need. Prices are down in the description. Be sure to like this video, comment on it, share, subscribe, and tap that bell icon to make sure you get notifications for when new videos come out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.